you ever wondered that we usually call someone mad or abnormal is when they don't really fit in our definition of what a normal looks like? But here I have a book that questions, that holds a mirror to the society and asks important question. What is normal? What is abnormal? Importance of mental health, the plea of inclusivity. All these themes are addressed in this book. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mehek. I hope you guys are all fine, and like always, I also hope that you guys are reading. Back with the book of the week that I finished, Maria Just Maria. It's by Sandhya Mary. The book is translated from Malayalam language and the translator is Jayashree Kalathil. Now this book was sent to me by HarperCollins, so thank you so much. But the review is my own and honest. I didn't fall in love with the book immediately. It wasn't a love at first sight with this read. But I think it was the takeaway message and the plea in the end that the author is, indirectly making, using humor and a very clever writing that really stayed with me. And it is going to be for a really long time. So coming to the plot of the story, now the book begins in a psychiatric hospital, a mental hospital. And Maria is, in the psychiatric hospital right now. She's someone who basically went on a silent mode, stopped talking absolutely with anyone after her grandfather passed away. And now she's in the mental hospital and her condition is improving from before. And she's kind of making that connection with reality again. So as she's doing that, making that connection with reality, she's kind of trying to go back in her memories and wondering that how did she land in this mental institute. She's trying to dig through her memories and wondering what really happened with her that she landed up at this place. Because according to Maria, there wasn't a clear or concise reason for her to be labeled as mad and put in a psychiatric hospital. So she's really not sure what she's doing here. Now, as she reflects on these memories, we are taken to her childhood days. Now, Maria was a girl who was born in a Syrian Christian family in Kerala. And since birth, she was, when she was really young, she was left by her parents. She was the fourth child. So she was kind of treated as a leftover, an extra child. And so she was left by her parents, at her ancestral home to live with her grandparents. So her bond with her grandfather was really strong. And instead of, her siblings and parents, she was surrounded by her grandfather. Her grandfather was really dear to her. He used to, often take her on walks and spend time with her at his toddy shop. Now, a toddy shop is a very traditional setting in Kerala where the alcohol is made. So he used to take her there and spend time with her there. There are also mentions about a great aunt who had dementia, a dog which was who had a fondness for philosophy. So he used to actually talk, or Maria thought he used to talk, and he was actually very philosophical, and several other long dead relatives. So all these people are mentioned when Maria goes back in time and remembers about her childhood. Now, like I said, that she was really young when she was left at her grandparents' house. So she always lacked that feeling of belongingness. There was always this thing of where do I belong, because she was left by her siblings and her family and her parents. So when we think that you realize as a reader that when she's going back for the longest time in the book, she's not really talking about her parents and siblings because she doesn't have memories with them. And I think towards the end, when we read about when the parents come, when she reaches a certain age and they realize, it's time to bring her back, how devastated she is, to leave her ancestral home, her grandfather, and come back and live with the siblings. Because as soon as she comes back, it's like a transformation from a very whimsical world that she was living and all the fun memories that she was enjoying. Suddenly the transformation is very tragic because you can see how her siblings, bully her, and how the parents are cold and no one really notices if she's around. And worse, even the school teachers are really harsh with her, and very rude to her, and this entire transformation is so confusing to her, and people calling her all kinds of names and labeling her. So this kind of fills her with a lot of rage and all the negative emotions. There's a quote in this book that I will share, Maria's feeling when how she's describing the childhood. So she's really boiling with all this rage and everything. So what she does is she often, kind of retreats in her room and lives in this imaginary world where she is still spending time with the grandfather and the great aunt, and few of the characters that we come across in her childhood days spent at the village, at the ancestral home. So that is how the book flows. The book is actually told from the perspective of a child who is labeled mad or abnormal by the society. And that's how the author has, addressed themes on what is normal and what is abnormal. She's also taken up themes like, family relationships, love and hate, and how complex human relationships can be. And, there's a very funny line where Maria says, that life can be boring. It's actually her madness that adds interest to it. Now, like I said, there is this, the book raises big question. What is normal? Is it, the author is saying that, or author through Maria is saying that, the society conveniently puts people in different molds and they are termed as normal. And when someone behaves different, or goes against these molds that the society has formed, they are termed as crazy or abnormal. And that's exactly, that happens with Maria if you read the book. In fact, when I was reading, I felt like she's the one who is sane and all the other people, around are abnormal. And, Maria questions, why do we have a like a one definition of success, what if I'm not ambitious and I don't have huge plans? I just want to be Maria and I just want to be happy. And if that makes me crazy, so be it. I will be crazy. So I think this last takeaway message that the author leaves us with, the plea for an inclusive world where we don't label people as abnormal or crazy or mad just because they don't fit our definition of normal, is something that really stayed with me and was a standout in this book. Quickly, I just wanted to read about two of Maria's impressions. So this was a time when she came back to her parents' house and her experience in the school. Maria found school traumatic because she could not understand the psychology behind competitions, exams, being at the top of the class, or why some people were considered smart just because they knew the answers to specific questions asked at specific times. Did knowing the answers to questions make someone smart? Again, she was defying the normal tag of, who is smart if they know the answers at that specific time, if they know all the answers, if they're performing well in the exams. Are those people only the smarter ones? And lastly, which is, very sad when I read it, her, her definition of childhood, how she looks at childhood. So she says, every time someone talks nostalgically about their childhood, I'm convinced that they're lying. The colorfulness of childhood, the joyous wonder, the innocence, bullshit. I'm yet to meet a child who personifies innocence. And as for me, I don't remember any feelings other than fear and hatred. I guess my childhood wonderments died under the cloud that was the constant expectation of punishment. I think it clearly talks about what a sad and tragic childhood she had, where her siblings and her parents and her classmates and her teachers were really cold to her. And just because she didn't behave in a normal way, she was constantly punished. She was bullied. And I think that's the sad part. So this was the impression of, two of the impressions of Maria. So you get, how her life has been. And yeah, because she defied every normal molds and tags. She landed in a psychiatric hospital. So this is what the story is all about. I think something that was really difficult, or I found while I was reading, is that because the plot is not linear, as in it's not in a flow, her memories are going back and forth, in the time. And some of the characters actually have two names, their real name and, probably a second name that Maria has or some of the villagers have. So sometimes you get confused which character is she talking about. So you really have to focus and probably sometimes, go back. So that was, I like books that just flow very naturally. This wasn't that, but like I said, this plea by the author in the book of an inclusive world is something that, I will always remember this book by. So that's all on this book. I'm going to see you guys next week with another title. Till then, take care, bye-bye, and keep reading.